So I watched this old-ass cartoon called Droids, The Adventure of R2-D2 and C-3PO. But I'm just going to call it Droids, or Droids Adventure, because it's much easier to say than that long name. I suffered through this show, and this show came out in the mid-80s, and that'll be important later on. It lasted for about a year, and I want to talk about it, because I watched all 14 episodes. Yes, there's 14. This show sucks, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this show is really, if you want to, if you know those shows, alright, I'm going to start with this. You know those shows from the 80s, stereotypical 80s cartoon, that's what this show is to the fullest extent. And some people are fine with that. But it's really unwatchable because there is no violence. Well, there is violence, but it's very, very kid-safe and safe. Everything's safe. It's very goofy, very silly. This is meant for the babies. And it's very, very mind-numbing. Like, I am just lost for words. My mind is just fully just mush. Like, it's just, I'm so tired. I dread watching this show every day. And like, I found out midway through something interesting. So, in the 80s, there was a ban on gun violence in cartoons. So, cartoon shows couldn't use actual guns, or in this case in Star Wars, blasters. So, every character in the show has some sort of random object that is a blaster. Like, the stormtroopers in the show have, like, these staffs with, like, a ball on top of it. Some of the main characters just have like remotes that just shoot out lasers. Like, it's so stupid. And it's like, if I were to watch this when it came out, I would have been like, what the hell is this? That's for everything in the 80s. Like, my god. Cartoons in the 80s must have sucked. 'Cause I cannot imagine watching that for any other show. Like, it's just so stupid. And the violence, oh my god. The villains are just mustache-twirling villains. They all suck. And they all just fumble around. And there's basically, this show has a lot of chase scenes because you can't do actual violence. Oh, God forbid you have someone punch someone. Oh, no, God forbid, because it'll replicate in real life. The kids will replicate it in real life. My God, thank God we evolved from that. Because if shows were like that today, if Droids, this show, came out today, it would just be panned. No one would like it. And no one likes it now. It's a terrible show. But something interesting that I also found out, besides the whole banning of, the violence, is that every 4 or so episodes, every 4 or so episodes, the show kind of changes a little bit. What I mean is that when, the whole premise of this show is that C-3PO and R2-D2 are looking for a new master, and so they seek out to find a new master, but the way they do it is very similar to A New Hope. Remember the part in A New Hope towards the beginning where C-3PO and R2-D2 are in the deserts of Tatooine. They come across the Ewoks, they get sent to they get sent to Luke, and all that goes off. Basically, that is what this show is for 14 episodes, where it's just some meddling around, finding people, finding a new master, spending time with them for 4 episodes, then they just leave. But yeah, you guys are great, but where I'm going now, they don't allow droids, so bye. And the first time it happened, I was very surprised. Like, wait a minute, they're wrapping up this story on episode 4. Only to realize, oh, what the hell? It's like they're doing arcs. It's like the Clone Wars with the arcs. And is this the first show that's ever done an arc like this, like a 4-parter? I mean, all these episodes are really, really just, I can't describe in words how painful this was, how just mind-numbing, how slow and tedious this show is. And I would not recommend anyone watching it. And I saw it going into this. It would have been just, so bad it's good. But no, it's just so bad it's bad. And I suffered a lot. It got to a point where I actually had a nightmare about this show. This is a true story. I had a nightmare. The nightmare was just C-3PO in the animation style he was just talking and talking and talking and blinking, and it never stopped. It was a nightmare. It just, I woke up in like a little bit of sweat, and I was just like, I was relieved, but then I was like, I had fear again because like I had to watch more of this show. That was a couple days ago. I had to take like days off. It was just too much. This show's too much. There's only 14 episodes. I tried binge watching. I watched 6 episodes in one day. 6 in one day. No, don't watch this show. But it's not the worst thing that I've ever seen in Star Wars. I'll get to the rankings in a little bit. It's not the worst. But it is up there with the worst things to ever come out. The most infamous things. No one talks about this show. I'm glad no one does. It's not like the holiday special where it's like so bad. It's like this infamous thing where all the copies want to be destroyed by the creator. No, it's just a harmless show that you can show to like a 2-year-old to shut them up, and that's all it is. It's not entertainment. It's not fun to watch. It's not like some nostalgic thing that people are going to look back on. No one has any fond memories. This thing only lasted a year. This show ended in 1986. This thing lasted 1 year, and it deserved it. It was not good. The only thing that was good is that Anthony Daniels voiced C-3PO. He was the only good thing. He was extremely annoying, and he gave me nightmares, but he was the only thing that was good. Also, I think every character that's not C-3PO is just the same voice actor or same group, because they keep changing not only the heroes but the villains every 4 or so episodes, which I'm gonna assume the same voice actors because they sound very similar to one another. So also the main hero is very friendly to the droids. I don't know. It made me happy to see that he or whatever master they have in whatever iteration, because this happens 3 times in the show. They change into a new master, and all 3 groups of characters, they all love the droids. They're all friendly. They're like, oh, you're so helpful, you're great. No matter how many times they mess up, they're always like supportive of like the 2, which is really, I'm glad for that. The rest of the show is crap, but that was the only consistent thing. Now, one last thing before I get to the rankings. This does connect to Star Wars. The writers try to make it like a Star Wars story, and I give them props for that. It wasn't it was very difficult for them to work in the circumstances that they did, and I wonder if this show would work different in today's day and age, because this show suffered from the 80s gun ban, I guess they wanted to make it for babies. God, I wish I was watching anything else but this. Actually, no. And that leads me to my rankings now. So where does this rank in my rankings? So Droids goes above Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, but below the Clone Wars movie. This is where it is. It's very easy. By like a 3rd episode, I was like, this is gonna go right here. Nothing has changed. No matter how many episodes I watched, the more it's just there. I regret watching all 14 episodes because the decision was made by the 3rd episode, so it's just there. I'm taking a break from watching anything relating to C-3PO and R2-D2. You do not understand the pain and torture I went through. Hearing C-3PO's voice all the time. He constantly speaks, constantly screams, constantly just hearing him all the time is so annoying, and I am glad that I am just done with this show. I'm done with it. I'm not hearing him anymore. I'm not gonna have any more nightmares about him. We're all good. I'm happy now that I'm actually making this video, and I'm never gonna see droids again. Never again. I'm glad I experienced it once, but never again. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going now. Goodbye, everyone.